Yesterday, the citizens of Compton voted, and they sent a very loud message. They do not want the marijuana industry in the city of Compton. And they're smart people. Thank you, voters. Now, Mr. City Attorney, let me remind you that in addition to yesterday's vote, we still have an ordinance on the books that says dispensaries are not prohibited, are not permitted in our city. So the citizens are asking you to shut them down and keep them shut down. We've had enough. Now, Saturday evening at our Concerned Citizens meeting, Captain Thatcher and our city manager, Mr. Rambo, were our guests, and they were invited so they could hear the concerns of the people. At approximately 6:30 p.m., I complained about the conditions at certain liquor stores in our city. And I reminded them that we have an ordinance that all liquor stores are supposed to have adequate lighting, security cameras, and a security guard at night. This is about 6:30. I get home, and I no sooner get home and I see all kinds of flashing lights at Nate's Liquor. I could see the liquor store from my patio. Now, we all heard what happened. A little 3-year-old boy is dead because two idiots were shooting at each other. Folks, we need to contact the owners of every liquor store in the city of Compton and make sure that they know how to abide by the rules, the laws, the ordinances, and everything. And if they can't provide a safe environment for customers, these liquor stores need to be shut down. Now, also in safety issues, lighting. In the last few nights, I've been out at night. I don't usually get out at night that much. I've driven down Rosecrans, I've driven down Compton Boulevard, I've driven down Alondra. Our street lighting is pathetic. Our city is dark and dismal. What street lights are working need brighter bulbs. I know you got just a lighting assessment recently. I don't know what the details of that show, but I know what I see every day. And also, driving down the street, you can't see the white lines. We need paint on our white lines in our major thoroughfares so people know where they're going. And lastly, I've hinted on this and I've been saying it for years. I don't care if it's a municipal code, an ordinance, or a law. When they are enacted for a reason, usually for the safety of the people. We've got to do a better job of enforcing all of our laws, rules, and regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Bishop L.J. Guillory.
Madam Mayor and Council, I won't use profanity tonight. I think I've used enough of that. But sometimes you have to get your point made. And I think that when people call us and they give us a story, sometimes we have to use our resources to find out what really truly happened. And as 3 days later, you found out that, the person with the child in the car was the first shooter, which is why I said what I said. Don't shoot at people, and then when they shoot back at you, and then there's a baby, then you say, oh, I didn't do anything. You did do something. I want to tell our young ladies, my parents raised 2 daughters here in this community, and they weren't allowed to date gangbangers. I work with the gang intervention. I know, I went to school here, but there was a time when, you courted, and you brought these people to your house, and your mom or your dad or your uncle, they looked them over and they said, Jana, get that Negro out of here. He can't come around here. And you had to do that. And because of that, we didn't get caught up. For someone to lose a child, that's a big deal. It's a real big deal. We've lost a lot of babies in this community because of gang violence. But at some point, we got to step up and stop doing like the song, my baby ain't never done nothing to nobody. Your baby was just shooting at somebody. Your baby ain't a baby. Your baby is a grown-ass murderer. So I'm going to just say that. I want to say this. Mr. City Attorney, we have been fleeced over close to $4 million. Our city treasurer, who's getting paid a nice fat check, from my understanding, he hasn't investigated the people that was in collusion with Mr. Galvan. Mr. Galvan told the FBI agents that he was doing what everybody else was doing. So I want to know who everybody else is. That's what I want to know. I want our money, you know. And about code enforcement and these other people, since they have time to go and pick on residents, maybe we should have them to pick on and do their job and start looking at some of those lights that's out. Write down that, find out what they're doing with their time, because we have so many situations that are taking place that we got couches and refrigerators on the street. You pass by all that shit and come to somebody's house and say, is this van registered? I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with people continuing with recalls and costing taxpayers money. And the drug dealers, if they want to come back to the community, maybe they should pay the $217,000 that it costs for the election. Pay that before you come back to our community.
Mr. Michael Owens.
Council people, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michael Owens, and give me a little second, my heart is racing. It's been 20 years since I've actually spoke here. I was 15, part of the Upward Bound program at Compton Community College last time I spoke. And so I think I'm just here to say that the citizens voted yesterday against cannabis, and that's a pretty good thing in my opinion. However, the industry as it is and as it stands now is not the industry that it will be in 3 or 4 years. I am owner and operator of Texarkana Laboratories, which is an analysis and laboratory testing facility. And what we do is we specialize in the medical benefits of cannabis. No THC, CBD. These studies that have thousands and thousands of peer-reviewed papers and thousands of actual scientific proof and benefit that can help people. Now, I'm not for selling it, and I'm not for smoking it. I'm not for eating it, but I am for extracting cannabinoids that help medicinally. Arthritis, successfully treated with CBD. Seizures, successfully treated with CBD. Alzheimer's, successfully treated with CBD. The jobs that I offer are jobs that pay over $100,000, and they can lead you to a PhD. I'm a prime example of that, right? We do not have any bud in our laboratories, although we test thousands of samples, right? What we do is we extract the oils from the buds, and then we burn the rest. Truthfully, I'm not a proponent of cannabis. I'm a proponent of public health. We oftentimes think about just rolling up a joint or rolling up a blunt, as us young people say, you know, or tooting a pipe or shooting a vape, right? But what you don't see are the patches and the oils and the salves that go on your knees that help treat arthritis. Verifiably so, scientifically proven. So, all that to say is I hope that the city of Compton may possibly help with maybe an educational grant in regards to possibly just opening up a laboratory for all medical testing, medical research and development only. Thank you.
Prince James Reed Williams.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. These are my nephews. I used to be real cool, and they used to want to hang out with me. Now I have to force them to hang out with me, so they're just up here hanging out with me. But I just wanted to thank you guys very much for your support of the America's Job Center of California. In fact, I want to point out that we had an employer symposium several months back, and Councilwoman Zarita came and she spoke to the employers in the city of Compton and shared some information with them about resources that were available to them. And we honored Emma Sharif with the International Association of Workforce Professionals at a dinner for her contribution to the labor market here in the city of Compton. And again, always want to thank the Honorable Mayor for her participation and partnership as we bring jobs to the citizens here. And on this particular day, I just want to share with you guys an opportunity where we are partnering with LA County with regard to the fire department. For those of you who have ever called the fire department throughout LA County, you'll recognize that less than 10% of the individuals probably look like the people in this room. So Mark Wrigley Thomas has decided to partner with us to put some info sessions out with regard to the upcoming testing for the fire department. So I've placed some flyers outside for those of you who are interested. You can share with your family and your friends. I also have one here that you can share. I'll text it to you, or I will send it to you electronically so you can put on your Facebook pages. But I think this is critically important because, again, when you look at the makeup of the LA County Fire Department, it does not look like the people on this city council in large parts, or again, the people sitting in this room. So for those of you who want to be a part of this, we have an info session at the Rancho Dominguez America's Job Center of California in the great city of Compton on Monday, February 5th at 1:30 p.m. Please RSVP because we have limited space, and I'll be sharing this information with you guys electronically so you can share it with the other citizens in the great city of Compton. Okay, that's all I have to share. Just some good news, nothing crazy. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice to see you. Mr. David Irons.
David Irons, resident of Compton. That young man just said something. You know, I want you to look at this T-shirt. See what this T-shirt say? President, I forgot what it said. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. I'm a designer. So I designed this T-shirt because President George Washington and Thomas Jefferson grew hemp. Hemp did not become illegal until 1939, and they was smoking hemp as well. And the slaves grew hemp. Hemp is marijuana in English. And it became against the law because what's his name? William Randolph Hearst decided that he needed to get rid of hemp. So he put some bad press on hemp. The Revolutionary War started because, what's that guy's name that died, that black guy name that died in the Revolutionary War? He was the first man to, see? We got educated people in this room. We are educated. We are not stupid. See, they told me who it was, but I ain't, you know. But the thing about it is, what they're doing is exaggerating about marijuana. Now, my sister right now is in the hospital because they gave her some medicine that wasn't right. And I don't take medicine. So I'm against opiates. But I do indulge in herb, which is a herb. Even opium is a herb, but it's not a good herb. Some herbs are good for you and serve. So what the people are doing is trying to make me not help my arthritis, and they want me to put me on some pills. I ain't gonna take that stuff. And it's sad you got so many ignorant people in this city that's against my medicine. They are. Okay, well, I could have my medicine and drink it too. You could do it, but it is so sad. It's so many ignorant, you know, there's something wrong with us. I mean, I'm mixed. You could tell the way I look. I don't hate nobody. But there's some stupid people all over the world. even me.
Mr. Holyfield?
That's a hard act to follow. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Benjamin Holyfield, and I'm here tonight. I'm so very happy as a result of our situation last night. As a matter of fact, I think that I know that that was the best thing could have happened to this community in probably 50 years or longer. And I'm sure there's some sad faces and some sad people. But ladies and gentlemen, here is a sign. All over this town. Come on. All over this town. Now, boo! But you see, you can't have a game unless there's one booer. That's number one. Now, my thing is this here. My thing is this. Many people in this room tonight was part of this situation, by the way, many people. All right? Now, but it was two in particular who started the movement back in the day to change things in Compton. One young lady was in her classroom, her class was cold, and she started picketing outside, and then another young lady, I won't name her, but she's responsible for these signs. And she stopped her car and joined that lady who was picketing to get heat in the classroom. Now, she could have been fired for picketing and stopping work and all that back in those days. Pretty soon, there's about 4 or 5 people there, and there's a couple in this room tonight that was supporting this particular lady. And I want to thank the citizens of this community. I've been here, like I say, for a while. And this here, I was here in the 60s and 70s and 80s when our young people, by the way, was going to jail, couldn't get a job because they were tested, couldn't work. So what we were trying to do, not trying, but doing is saving our kids. We are going to rebrand Compton as a all-American city. And it was branded that in 1952. All we have to do, it don't take an army. A few people put these signs together. And a few people built an organizations that made this happen. I certainly thank you. This is not generally my lane, but I worked my head off. Y'all don't hear me, do you? You see, that's what it takes. I want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak on that issue. And I watched the proceeds last night up here till I don't know what to do. And Anita, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much.
Mr. Richard Earl?
Good evening, Richard Earl, 900 East Greenleaf Boulevard. I want to start off by thanking my Lord and Savior for what happened here last night, because I personally stayed on my knees many days to get that outcome. And I believe that prayer works. I want to thank everybody who worked hard to try and make that happen. All those people that were in between, even if you just held up a sign, if you put a sign in your yard, if you even had the thought of keeping Compton straight, because what we essentially did was we saved our children. We saved our kids. We're giving our kids a chance by not having that industry in here so that they can go out, get jobs in the industry and get paid a decent wage, not a wage that they have to look for somebody to give them. We want them to be able to go out, get good money, not $30,000 a year, but $100,000 a year. Those are the type of people we need to attract here. I'm not going to stop thinking about our city in terms of our main streets, Compton Boulevard. We need to fix those streets. And like Mr. Said, we need lighting. The lighting in this city is terrible. The lighting on the boulevard is terrible. When you drive down the streets at night, you cannot see. I wouldn't walk one of those streets at night. You might get hit in the head. That Union Rescue Mission, I want to say that I'm not against the Union Rescue Mission, but I do believe that the Union Rescue Mission is being put in the wrong place. It needs to be gone. We need a mission here in the city. I have nothing against it, but we don't need it there on Rosecrans in those people's backyard. That's a given. Thank you.
Mr. James Hayes.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Everybody's talking about last night, and I guess this is a victory lap because the Compton citizens spoke, and they spoke very loudly and very clearly. I don't take victory laps, okay, because I understand that we won a battle last night. I understand this is a war because marijuana will be back. And I just want to let the industry know and let our leadership know that we were successful in putting together many groups of people to fight these measures. We're not going away. We are not disbanding. We are not losing focus. We're not going away because I really don't doubt that very soon it will come back in another form. And I just want to let everyone know we're not going to have marijuana here, and we are ready for the next battle. Thank you.
Ms. Charmaine Hayes. Mrs. Hayes.
Good morning, good evening, Mayor and City Council, and the wonderful citizens of Compton. Last night was victorious for us. We worked hard. It was truly a beginning of something here in the city of Compton. We had groups and organizations that could never unite. Okay? We had enemies working side by side, united against this. I want to say, how dare the outsiders come to our community and insult us with the measure with taxes up to 5%. How dare them think so little of the people here in the city of Compton. Okay. We know it's not over. We know they intend to come back, but we are ready for them. We will be more powerful. We will be more united, and we are ready. So we hope you all are listening, and we hope that you don't allow it to come back and you do what you need to do to ensure that that does not happen. And for those of you that said you were against it, we expect you to be in front of us and not behind us. Okay? Thank you.
Ms. Maria Villarreal.
Buenas noches, good evening, María Villarreal, Distrito 1. I live in District 1. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you. Tonight I am going to read a little paragraph here that it tells you a little bit about how people make people feel sometimes. People think that's not important, but it is important because it makes a difference in your life. In human social affairs, discrimination is a treatment of consideration of or making a distinction in favor of or against a person based on the group, class, or category to which the person is perceived to belong to belong rather than one individual. Attributes. This includes treatment of an individual or group based on their actual or perceived membership in a certain groups or social category in a way that is worse than the way people are usually treat if involves the group's individuals reaction or integrating against on the influence the individuals. Actual behavior towards the group, leaders of the group, restricting members of the group from opportunities or privileges that are available to another group. Leaders to the exclusion of individuals or entities based on logical or irrational distinction makes the difference. So I'm reading this not only because Latino Chamber of Commerce is going through what we're going. Some individuals here in this room are good at different things. They have fighting for what they choose. I'm an individual that represents the community. We were supposed to be represented by a Latino member, which is normally, he's absent most of the time. And if we, the community, don't get together and work instead of talking and hating each other and attacking each other on the regular basis, whether I speak English right or I speak Spanish right. So what is my language? I'm not stopping coming here. I will continue with this fight till the end. I live in Compton. I pay taxes in Compton. So whoever is against me, I'm sorry, but I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Calais Wade. Calais Wade. Miss Marjorie Ship. Oh, I'm so sorry. Come on down. And Miss Ship, you'll be next.
Good evening, community members and council members. My name is Kaylee Wade.
Okay.
So I'm here today to talk to you all about the 710 project, project that's been around for around 15 years now with little to no community involvement. But before that, I just want to say a little bit more about myself. My name is Kaylee, and I'm a community organizer with Communities for a Better Environment, an environmental justice org that's been around for 40 years or so. And I was born in Linwood and raised in both Linwood and Compton, so this community is very important to me. And I'm here today because I believe that Compton has been left out of the conversation regarding the 710 project throughout the last 15 years. Specifically regarding a measure called Measure 22.1. Measure 22.1 demands 3 things from this project. It demands no displacement, it demands a zero emissions corridor on the 710, and it demands a local job initiative rather than targeted hiring. So displacement has, historically affected the most marginalized people in our communities, right? So with this specific project, it's going to displace the biggest homeless shelter on the West Coast, which is in Bell, the Salvation Army shelter, if any of you are familiar with it. And housing in Compton is also going to be displaced by this project. Additionally, senior housing that's here in Compton was threatened by displacement from this project, but we fought to make sure that that's not happening. So we want to go ahead and take that all the way and make sure that nobody's losing their homes or their businesses from this project. Additionally, air quality here is really poor because of our proximity to several freeways. I myself grew up half a mile from the 710 and the 105, so a lot of people in my family have breathing problems, asthma. We also have a lot of diabetes, lots of health issues in the community, which we also believe will be curbed by something like the zero emissions corridor, which will prevent all the trucks that are driving on the 710 all day long with that diesel. It'll prevent it, right? And lastly, we want local jobs to be studied throughout the project, because we believe that if a project of this magnitude is going to be happening in our own community and we're all going to be impacted by it, the least that can happen is that we all benefit, at least economically, right? So tomorrow evening, at this time actually, from 6:30 to 9:30, there's going to be a PC meeting in Paramount at Progress Park, and I just wanted to come here in person and ask Councilwoman Jana Sarita to please attend it and please vote in a way that is in accordance with what's best for Compton, right? We want a project for all the communities along the 710 corridor. We want a project that's not going to be what they decide to give us, but what we're asking for, right? Like, it's time that we're not settling for things anymore, but instead letting them know what we want. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Marjorie Ship. I will put her down. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Miss Hollis.
Good evening to the council and to the mayor and to the citizens. I just can't shout out enough a special thank you to you, the citizens, who got out yesterday and let the citizens of Compton know that we are standing together in the interests of this city, the welfare of this city, and the welfare of our children. And there is the evidence yesterday of the strength of how we can come together for a common cause. This is a new beginning, a new year for us. And I promise you that we will stand together and we will change the complexion of this city. I want to say thank you to you, Mr. City Manager, to you, Mr. City Attorney, and also to Captain Thatcher, who came to us last Saturday and met with us and made yourself available for us, extended your workday. You were so much appreciated, and we can't say thank you enough. And of course, Mr. City Manager, we promised you we were going to try to lighten your load. We worked on it yesterday. And I want to also say thank you to you, Councilwoman Emma Sharif. You took a position, you stayed with it. You had the courage, in spite of all the criticism and all the pressure that was put on you, you had the courage to do what you were elected to do, which is to represent your constituents and to do what you were put in that seat to do. And we want to say to you as citizens of this city, thank you, and continue in that effort. And last but not least, citizens, this yesterday was an example that you don't have to take what is put on us. When we say no, we can stand up for it and mean no.
Thank you. Ms. Nia Ujama?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. I'm going to speak really on one issue, and that is to thank the Planning Committee for their decision about that, the Union Rescue Mission 4-story building on Rosecrans, because there were a lot of us as a community that are not in support of that, and so we felt like they represented the community at that point. I'm hoping that the City Council understands how the community feels about that, and will also, someone kept saying, represent from your heart, to represent us as the citizens. And just in case you guys wanted to know some of the major reasons that we were against it, I have a nice little list. So one of them is just lauding, we've been lauding our city as a suburb. We've been seeing ourselves on the news in a new way within the last few years, and I don't feel personally that that represents what it is that we're trying to do and become as a city. 4 stories will block those of us living closest to the facility from a lot of different opportunities in our own homes that we have purchased, with the idea that we would be able to garden or possibly have solar panels or things like that. And it also would remove a lot of privacy and security having 4 stories above where it is that we would live. And so there are a lot of concerns about things like that. I also want to say that this doesn't come from a place without compassion. I definitely understand that the Union Rescue Mission does a whole lot for a lot of different people. I just feel like the city is too small to support that. And it should not be our responsibility. We are still dealing with cleaning up for prostitution and cleaning up homeless encampments and things like that. And we would have more issues to address and more resources that would need to be put into supporting the fact that there would be more people in the community possibly just trying to get access to that facility. The convenience of the Blue Line is definitely a convenience if there was a facility like that here, but it could also be an inconvenience because people could quickly, easily get to the city with the interest of possibly being in that facility and waiting wherever they could wait. The bigger deal that someone brought up, and I just think it wasn't emphasized enough, is that the Union Rescue Mission hasn't done this before. And while they've been explaining to the city that they have done this before with Hope Gardens, that spot in Sylmar is in a rural community outside of a city. The neighbors that they refer to that are now friends of theirs, they're not living butted up against it. And so we need to recognize the difference. The one last thing, though, we haven't heard, as I haven't heard, good numbers of families that are residing in Compton.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask that you just finish your point. We have to keep the meeting
Okay.
moving.
We need those numbers. How many families would actually be here if they are trying to do that here? How will it support Compton?
Thank you very much. Ms. Jacqueline Venters.
Mayor, Council, on January 7th, we were in a meeting with the Planning Committee in regards to the rescue mission. And it was some things that was told to us that day that was not true. First, the representative told us that 50% of Skid Row are from Compton. We know that's the biggest lie. Then he turned around on December 20th and changed it from 50% to 20%. I have personal concerns. I've been in my home for 35 years, and I have income property all in District 2. And I think that the whole district would be affected by that, not just the district, but the city. I don't know if anybody up there frequent downtown, but I do. I've seen how the rescue mission looked down there, and I think it would be a big eyesore for our city. I don't think that nobody up there, they also told us that, they say some names of some people here in our city that they don't live here. So they stated that they was in agreement. But then they also came back and said that the mayor and 3 of the council members supported this. And I just want to ask, would you want your children or your grandchildren to have to walk through what I'm visualizing that's happening downtown with the drugs, the pimps, the prostitutes, the tents outside on the side, sidewalk you can't walk through? I just can't see that happening right here. And like the young lady said, it's people's houses right back there, and that would interfere with their privacy of their home. Also, I think that our property value would go down by bringing something like that. And it's so many other things that we would be affected by, and I don't see why they would want to put something right there. You bringing people from downtown, I could see some of these young ladies going down on Long Beach Boulevard as prostitutes. I could see the guys hanging around the facility waiting to pick them up. I could see the drug dealers. I could see so many things that would take place over there, and I just want the council to look at the vision. If you get a chance, go downtown and see how it looks. Before they try to bring something to somebody else's city, they need to clean up downtown first.
Miss Melody Glisper.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Melody Glisper. I thank you for this opportunity to voice my opinion on the Union Rescue Missions Project. I care for the homeless. My only objection is the size of the proposed building and the area to place it in. Due to a conflict in my home, I ended up homeless. I had to report to work with everything I owned in my car. According to the presentation on January 17th, there were no parking spaces for homeless drivers. It doesn't make sense to sleep in a secured building and leave your car outside on the public street. As a member of Community Chapel Church here in Compton, I sang songs and served dinner at the Lighthouse Mission downtown Los Angeles. I also worked at the House of the Redeemed Shelter for Women and Children on Hilford Street here in Compton. The Union Rescue's presentation mentions a plan for children and parents without identifying a plan for teens. Teenagers aren't patient, and wanting things right now has to be dealt with. Placing them in a high crime area is not safe. Prostitution, theft, and drugs are clearly associated with the area of Rosecrans and Long Beach. When my son was 7 years old, I was able to buy a home. As a homeowner, I'm concerned with taxes being raised to handle the cost of associated fees due to police and emergency service for so many people suddenly all at once. As said before, the size of the building placed in the midst of 1- and 2-story family homes. We use our backyard for family affairs. Having a building of 4 stories and a roof to play on violates our privacy level. Also, the building blocks the sun from shining on the fruit trees that 5 generations of our family enjoy. The homeless need more than 3 to 6 months to be placed. They need affordable housing so that the repeat of their being homeless is not repeated again. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Susan Adams.
Susan Adams, District 4. I just want to talk briefly about the election yesterday. It was terrific and marvelous, and I just echo our speakers that came forward earlier. This is what you call community spirit, and I'm so glad we had organization of organizations of organizations. I can keep going. And I call them unknown soldiers, and we had a lot of soldiers up front. So this was a terrific time for Compton. Also, I just wanted to say thank you to our city attorney and our city manager for participating in the various town hall meetings. Thank you so much for jumping on board with us and being a part of the information to our community. And most importantly, I want to say thank you to my Councilwoman, Emma Sharif. Emma Sharif. Emma Sharif. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for standing firm and did not waver. We appreciate that very much, and believe me, we will not forget you at all. So thank you again, everyone, our community, for coming together. I love you all. We'll keep it up because I know this is one battle, but we have more to come. So thank you, everyone. Community of Compton and Captain Thatcher, thank you.
Ms. Janice Jackson.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
According to Andy Bales, the CEO of the Union Rescue Mission, and the plans to build a 4-story homeless shelter on one of the city's busiest major thoroughfares, Rosecrans Avenue. He stated that that project was highly supported by the mayor of Compton and 3 of the council members. And I just want to know, who are you? That's what he said. So when you see the minutes, if they took them correctly, it'll be in there. I also want to say, as demonstrated at the Planning Commission hearing, we strongly oppose to the City Council approving the Union Rescue Mission construction on an appeal. So we're pretty sure they're coming here, but we just want to make sure that you understand, it's not that we don't have compassion. We have compassion, but this city is already struggling with its own issues. Our sheriff's department is doing the best that they can to protect the citizens of the city with the limited resources that they have. I just witnessed the other day them on my street for a burglary call. They had to jump back in the car, take off, because they have to prioritize. I watched their demeanor change, because I'm sure they're headed towards a dangerous and a tense situation. Then they had to come back. Now they have to change their demeanor because they have to take this report from these people that have been victimized. We're asking too much from our sheriff's department. It was very interesting that the Union Rescue Mission brought in all these people to tell us what's best for our city. They even brought a LAPD officer to the meeting to tell us why we need this here and why we're obligated to help. But I didn't see not one of Compton sheriffs. Nobody asked them. Our code enforcement can't go out and do their job because they're disarmed now. And as we know, it's an element out there in this city that's dangerous than most small cities. They can't do their job because they need to be escorted by sheriffs. You know, the ones with the guns? So because the sheriffs are tied up because we got these kids, you know, killing each other and shooting at each other, the code enforcement has to stand by. And this is why this city looks like it looks. Think about us first. We were loyal to you, now be loyal to us.
Just want to say briefly that I've said publicly, and just in the last 2 council meetings, we discussed the Union Rescue Mission, and I said publicly that I do not support this project in that location. I support the homeless, I support those that need assistive housing, but the location is not right, in my opinion, for that type of intensive use that requires all those additional wraparound services, and that will impact those residents that live around that area. And I implore people to, don't take my word for it today, look at the tape. And whoever came forward on the Union Rescue Mission, it was really pitiful because I've never even had one meeting, one conversation with anyone representing their organization. And I take offense to someone to come in here to our community and say that the mayor supports it and 3 other council members as if that's going to guarantee them support. And so I commend all of the residents that came down here and held the line. I saw cars lined up and down the street until late at night. And I actually, and the city manager can attest to this, I asked him to let me know the outcome of the rescue mission, and he texted me about 11:50 p.m. that night because I wanted to know what the outcome was. And so people need to, don't just believe what somebody tells you. People should really consider that. And there was a resident that came to me, Ms. Jackie Venters, and she actually told me this on Saturday, that the person that came to give you all the presentation said that the mayor supported it. I personally showed her a text message from someone that they hired to represent them. I'd never responded to one single message. And if you don't take my word for it, Ms. Venters was standing right in front of you. And so, again, I will say that I support the homeless, I support wraparound services, but I do not support the Union Rescue Mission in that location. And what I'm going to say it again today, what I said 2 weeks ago, is that they need to look for an industrial area, someplace that is not going to impact the residents that they serve.
Mayor, I just wanted to let you know, I didn't believe you said it.
Thank you,
But
Mayor.
I wanted you to know
I appreciate that.
how they're putting you out there.
I appreciate that.
The paper that I saw supporting it had Isaac Galvan's name on it.
Okay.
And I just want to know, where is he?
Well, ma'am, your time is up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Juan Godino?
Hello. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I am here to talk about the Union Rescue Mission. I'm also against this project due to, well, many things. First of all, I'm one of the residents that lives right behind it, and basically that Union Rescue Mission, it would basically be invading everyone's privacy. You know, you have 5, 6-year-olds playing in backyards, and you're going to have a 4-story building behind you, which basically you're going to have strangers playing up top, and it doesn't seem right to me. And they're not going by the law for the parking as well, which, on the other hand, Rosecrans is already a busy street. With this, it's going to become even more busy. And another thing is that it's going to call for more homeless to come to Compton. Where they say there's a lot of homeless families, there's not a lot of homeless families. There's a couple homeless individuals, but also the Union Rescue Mission, they're not going to help single fathers or basically just men, and it just doesn't seem right to me, the location at all. And prostitution is a problem there, and that's what we should be focusing on now at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Floyd Smith?
Ms. Mayor, City Council, the community administrators, good evening. Yes, I opposed the mission. First of all, it's actually right in our backyard. I mean, we've been there for over 47 years, and that is our backyard. And they wanted to put the mission in our backyard. So I had a big problem with that. However, what I come here to say is that we need better education for this community. Schools, we need to look for better education teachers and to help us and to help these children. We need a medical center. We don't have actually a medical center. They took out all the hospitals, Dominguez, the one that was on Compton Avenue. So we don't have a good medical center. We need businesses, insurance companies. We need real estate offices. We need things like that that we don't have to take our business outside the community. We need actually an entertainment center. I don't see with the new technology that why we can't get it, because everybody that I go outside the community and they're doing great, but they got this new technology that if you do the wrong things or carry guns or whatever, this technology can pick this up and send the police right there. So with the new technology today, I don't see why we can't have an entertainment center. Also, there's actually 52,000 cars that go down Rosecrans in that location. They wanted to put the mission. So we have 5 freeways, and they coming off these freeways, and they go into Paramount, they go in North Long Beach, and but I can also say that the city of Compton actually go a lot further than what they claiming, but they have up to Delamo. Y'all have to Delamo. Y'all have space. Don't let Carson take y'all space. Carson is taking y'all space, and I think y'all should look into that, because there's a lot of oil come through there, and y'all should get paid for that. And there's homes in here that y'all not getting the revenue from taxpayers. So I'm just asking the city of Compton, I'm here for all of you guys. I'm here for, but Isaac, I don't know how he's getting away. He don't come to meetings, he come late and all that, and he's supposed to be here to represent the city of Compton. So what are we gonna do about that? We don't get the proper representation, so we have to come to the mayor, because everybody else have their own district. And that's not right. That's not right to the community. That's not right for, the community, period. And he's got to wake up and grow up and become a man and stop being a little boy. We just cannot accept that. And thank you for your time, Mayor.
Ms. Gilda Bluford.
Happy New Year, Compton City Council. I'm here, first of all, I want to thank the city manager and Mr. Michael Harvey and Jesse for correcting my brown water problem on January the 16th. However, I was a little dismayed because exactly 1 week later, which was yesterday, I received an email stating that our water was going to be increased. So I don't understand that. So I need some clarification on that. I don't know how much it's going to increase, why it's increased. I don't know anything. I just know February 1st, water's going to increase. So we'll talk about that real soon later. Secondly, I want to talk about yesterday, our election day. We had a bunch of folks come into Compton who collected approximately 8,000 signatures to have an initiative placed on the ballot. But it took only 2,650 dedicated Compton residents to say, no, you're not. So to the city of Compton and to those that went out to the polls, and yes, people were talking about voter apathy and all this old kind of stuff, but guess what? We won. We absolutely won. We let you know Measure A, We let you know Measure I, We let you know Measure C, And for the Union Rescue Mission, we gonna let you know,
Ms. Yolanda Guerrero. Or Guerrino, excuse me. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I have a few concerns. First of all, my name is Yolanda. I've been living in Compton in District 2 for almost 20 years, and I have a few concerns. One of those, the main one, is that the building that is this project that wants to be constructed on Rosecrans, and I live very close to Rosecrans and Long Beach. Obviously, I'm not agree with it. The reason is so many reasons. That area is mostly residents, property owners, that we all have families, that we would like to have our privacy, conserve our privacy. I applaud for all the construction that have been done in Compton, all those shopping centers. Not long ago, Long Beach was built with those palm trees, and after that I haven't seen anything else constructed on the streets. There's a lot of streets with the potholes that haven't been done. I am concerned that if there's a lot to be done, and then there's more projects that wants to bring up in Compton, and then also we have those schools. Schools in Compton are really bad. If you see our neighbors' cities, Linwood, Southgate, all cities, I don't want to mention because most of the cities have new schools. What are happening to our schools in Compton? It is, since I live very close to Long Beach, also I mean, prostitution is every day, every single day. I can see them. Last time I could see this in front of my house. So I don't want to be seeing that. I think it's a lot to focus on before bringing this kind of projects. Compton is looking good. Please don't bring that kind of projects. I'm not against to it, but it could be built something else. Please ask yourselves if you would like something close to your house like this. That is going to be the answer of us. And I think this is it. And please, I would like to know where is Isaac Galvan. I've been here lately and I don't see them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Ivan Solario?
Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Just in defense of Mr. Galvan, tonight Mr. Galvan is actually in the hospital very sick. So that's where he is tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Mr. Craig Henry?
Craig Henry, City of Compton, to the mayor, to City Council, and I pray that Mr. Galvan feels better. He's all right with me. When we talk about homeless services, I've been in the field of homeless services for about 43 years now, and I'm quite attached to assisting those who are in need of homeless services. However, when you're talking about, and I don't have the actual fact, but I'll guesstimate, incorporating a 4-story shelter about 75 feet from a school, which is an elementary school, not far away from a park, I know the individuals that are in shelters. We have a lot of rapists that are in there. We have a lot of people that are in need and that go there to get the right services that they need. But it would appear to me that before we could even talk about building a shelter, is there a conditional use permit for that type of area? Would it take rezoning? How much additional money would it cost the council, the city, to even talk about rezoning, doing studies, doing all of that in that particular area? I'm not against any shelter. And Mayor Brown, to your defense, I talked to you Saturday, and you did tell me you were not for the mission being in that location. The same words she said tonight, she told me on Saturday at the human trafficking event. There might be a possibility of something like that in an industrialized community where it wouldn't affect the inner city. I'm not against that. I'm not against Union Rescue Mission. I've worked with them. Great organization. But the location is what we have to look at. And you also have to look at the safety. I just moved our office to 600 North Alameda from 543 Crocker Street, right off of San Pedro, in the heart of Skid Row. And not only are you talking about that atmosphere, but you're talking about the famine and disease that comes along with that type of environment. I just got to keep it real with you. I take TB shots, I take all kind of shots because I've worked in that type of environment. And to expose our families to that just isn't fair right now. Now, as I indicated, somewhere over there in the industrialized park would be a perfect location, most likely. And not only do you bring a shelter, but what are the supportive services and resources that they're bringing to assist these people into self-sufficiency? Being a couch dweller is not helping. You need to have supportive services and services that allow people to go to work, to get transportation, and to get on their feet. A bed is not the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Joyce Kelly?
Good evening. I am Joyce Kelly. First, let me thank the employees who are sending or bought tickets for the seniors to go to the Gospel Fest Friday. When I gave them to them, they really had smiles and they were happy. In this marijuana thing, the people said testing. They said the state required it. Whatever the state requires is not FDA, because FDA is federal, and under the federal laws and guidelines, marijuana is illegal. So please do not try to bring that back. With the money that you are going to open or start up that industry, I think you should buy a mic system or sound system, and also a broadcasting system. People paying for cable and say, also find a newspaper for the city that you won't tell them what and how to print. As far as the union mission, it's so funny, embarrassing, and humiliating for those people to come to concerned citizens, bringing food, bringing the Bible, bringing a preacher, everything you would think of that black people, did they have fried chicken? I can't remember. Black people would like. And I took offense to that. Skid Row, if you've never been there, if you haven't been there recently, I was just there a couple of weeks ago. Every so often I go and check it out. I don't know. But go and look at it. And these people admitted they were bringing people from downtown. And we told them there are no 300 homeless women and children. That's when they had to admit to it. But let me tell you this. For 13 years here, I have waited for the alarm clock to go off for the people in Compton. Twice already, they woke up. And I hope they stay awake, because they're telling you something and you have to listen. And when you hear the people speak, you realize they're not all stupid. I thought I was the only intelligent one, but now you see. They aren't stupid. But people, please, do the right thing for the people. We need some, okay, Mr. City Manager, put some lines on the streets. I see now why old people don't go out at night, because I can't see to drive. That would help, or even paint the buttons. Thank you for doing a good job. Thank you. Somebody told me that you would be the one to find the numbers. Keep on looking. You got yourself a weak link.
Ms. Lynn Boone.
Lynn Boone, City of Compton. I might sound bad, but I feel a lot better. I just want to say I'm not here to make anybody feel warm and fuzzy. So I'm just here to tell you the truth. Number one, I am so proud of the citizens that stood up for the measures. I'm just so proud of you and grateful that you did what you did. But I want to say the city of Compton, and I have been saying it, has not had a budget for the last 4 years. And we have not had an audit for the last 4 years. I have been speaking back and forth to the state controller since Eric Perriton was here. And I have been pulling the invoices and the backup. And I'm going to tell you, when Mr. Chang actually puts together Compton's audit, it's not going to be a pretty sight. And many of these people, matter of fact, all of them, are going to have things on there that they are going to be, and they could possibly be, indicted for. Right now, we don't need them making decisions for us, because the decisions that they have made have been terrible. And money is missing. Federal money has been commingled. And it's a lot of things going on, citizens, that you have no idea. You know, they have taken trips, and we have policies and procedures for these people to go out of town on. They have taken trips We've had not just this city manager, but other city managers that have signed and allowed for them. We have a city attorney that has allowed for violations to take place. We have had consultants that have done things for different individuals up there that should have never been done. We've had money that's been spent that's unreal. So like I said, these people here, they're not going to be here in a little while. They're not. They're really not. And it's not a funny thing. And I mean all of them, every last one of them. So, you know, I'm not here to joke, and I'm not here, like I said, to make anybody feel all fuzzy. And it's not like I don't have it in black and white. You know, and Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Clinkscale Brown, okay, you know, you need to start telling the people the truth. You promised 3 years ago you were going to bring your grandmother's death certificate.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. And if you can't find it around the house, you can go to Norwalk and get it. It's down in the basement because you owe the citizens of Compton an apology. You really do, because you rode in here saying that somebody in here killed your grandmother.
Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. Mental illness is just running rampant around here. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you know, I don't answer everything, but when I'm called out, I do. And when you say indictments and all of us, that's a very serious statement and one that I don't take very lightly. And the city could not operate if it did not have a budget. Am I correct, Mr. City Attorney?
Is that common sense?
Every year.
I can't hear you.
You pass one every year.
Thank you. And as far as travel, we have a very serious travel policy, and I follow the travel policy. I'm not, you know, the reason why I answer is because when people continue to call you crook, people get brainwashed, and they begin to believe that you are a crook if you don't defend yourself. I'm not going to sit here and be called a crook like my mother did. And as far as people being called out as to who these perpetrators were that said they had 3 supported council members and a mayor, I can speak for myself. And nobody has heard me say anything about the support of a mission in the heart of Compton. I have a school-age kid. And like the gentleman said, one of the biggest issues with homeless people is disease. And one of the things that the people did say to me, and this is the last statement I'm going to say because it's not even agendized, but what was the biggest turnoff to me was when the gentleman said, because I did meet with him. I ain't going to lie. I never lie to y'all. I'm going to tell y'all the truth and keep it real. I've met with him, and one of the first things he said to me was when we talked about the parking, and I said, well, you know, it's just not enough parking. And his statement was, they're homeless, they don't have cars. And I said, well, I beg to differ because one of the things that homeless people do have is cars. And most of them have a motorhome and a car. So to say that they don't have cars, but you know, do we need a homeless shelter? We do, but nobody wants it in their backyard. That's the NIMBY statement, not in my backyard. But I think they do need to find a place that is not commingled into our livelihood and our school process. And my second question was, and I don't want to piggyback on everything he said, but was, then you kick them out, then what? Where are you kicking them out to? They're going to go right to the streets of Compton. So get your facts, and when you want to call me out on the floor, you can talk to me personally, because I'm going to answer when you personally attack me. I just can't help it. That's how I was raised. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I have tried to be, not try, I think I've been very transparent here on this council. And if she's talking about traveling, I'd like to know where I've been. Because y'all really see somebody's traveling in my place. Because, you know, I'm not really traveling. I took one trip this past weekend because I had to be for a meeting. And I'm like, when you're traveling, I'm like, where are we going? I don't know where we could be going because a lot of times when they have the conventions, a lot of times we can drive there. Some places we can drive to. So I'm like, I don't understand where the traveling is coming from, but like I said, if they want to show me where I've been and tell me where I'm going, I'll have no problem with addressing it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sharif. And we've beat this horse to death, and I made it a point not to travel using city money because I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm going to be where I want to be, and I'm not going to rely on city resources to do that. And I've done that since I was first elected. I do not use city money for travel. And if anyone can produce an invoice, I dare you to come up here, and I will extend a projector for you to put that information up there. I've said this time and time again, so I challenge you. And moving forward, this is the last time that I'm even going to address this person, but I will just say that facts it's funny. The funny thing about facts is they're tangible, they're possible to find, they're not hiding from you, and sometimes you got to look a little harder, but they are available for you. And so if anyone has any questions regarding my family, my history, contact the Sheriff's Department. Contact the Sheriff's Department. Our former captain, Captain McCrae, he extended the courtesy because this heinous individual came up here again and mentioned the death of my grandmother, and so he actually opened the cold case for my family to bring closure. And so if you have any questions, contact the Sheriff's Department. And I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for their compassion to my family to try to bring closure to something that has happened and has affected my family for generations. All of us have lost loved ones, and it's something that you never get over. And it's not a game, it's nothing to be played with. And for this person to even be a mother, to be someone's daughter, I have no understanding how politics can supersede being human and being decent. And so I can't even imagine being in that state of mind where I would even come to a public forum and fix my mouth to say those types of words over and over and over again. So I'm just going to ask all of us to keep this person in prayer. Please do, and ask that the Lord would just soften their heart, put some love in it, some decency in it. And I just speak life over her, that she will use her gifts and talents to uplift, not tear down. To uplift, not tear down, to bring life, not death. And again, and if you all think about this another time, say a prayer for my mother, because she still is not over the loss of her mother. And to walk into your home and to find your mother laid out on the ground, you can see how you feel. And it's not a game to me. And so I just ask that if anyone has any questions, contact the Sheriff's Department. And they can verify and just quell all of your concerns if you have any. Why you would, I don't know. But we are losing people, and people are still losing their lives left and right. People are losing their lives from the flu and all these other things, and we've had funeral after funeral after funeral. So life and death is nothing to play with. And I just pray that when death knocks on your doorstep, that people extend compassion and respect to you and your family. Madam City Clerk.
We're at consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam. Consent items are routine and expected to be non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion, unless a council member requests that an item be removed or discussed. Is there a motion?
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Yes. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 2 on regular business is the resignation of Christopher Petit from the Community Relations Commission, and asking that you.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Yes. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 3 under City Manager's Reports is a request to schedule a public hearing to approve a general plan amendment to amend the existing general plan land use designation for medium density residential to general commercial at 961 South Wilmington Avenue. Scheduling that hearing for February the 6th, 2018 at 5:35 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Yes. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
City Attorney's reports.
Madam Mayor, City Council, residents, the first item I have, I believe we have closure to our
Measure P litigation. It was such a public issue that I thought it would be appropriate to receive and file the judge's findings. The judge, Mary Strobel, prepared a history of the case, went through in detailed fashion the various arguments on both sides, and at this point the petition is denied. So it's a request to receive and file this matter, and citizens could read what it's about and what the claims were themselves. I know during this time my opinion and assessment of the matter was questioned often, but you can read it from the judge's assessment directly.
Well, that's a great thing. Congratulations to the city of Compton.
You can clap if you want to.
Clap,
It's
it's
all right.
okay. We're happy we still have $8 million plus per year to the general fund. It is a success.
Now we can keep moving.
We can keep pushing and serving the residents. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney, for the report.
So a request for receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Yes. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
The next, there is a request for two closed session discussions under Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Title City Manager, and Title City Controller pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.
I'd like to pull the city manager's evaluation for tonight and bring it back on another date.
Because of the length of the meeting, I will support pulling it and rescheduling it for the next council meeting. What is the pleasure of the council? That's fine. Thank you.
Are we doing
that, Madam City Clerk, or do we need a motion?
Yeah, we're going to do the controllers
Oh, yeah.
because I think that's going to take a long time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So we need a motion on
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 6 under unfinished business is an ordinance of the City Council, City of Compton, amending section 7-27.1 through 7-25.16 sex offender residency restrictions of the Compton Municipal Code in its entirety, and this is to waive the reading.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
And on the item,
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 7 under approval of warrants, warrant number 243181.
I'm gonna ask that we take the warrants individually. If you don't mind.
Okay, so I'll just do.
Okay.
Warrant number 243181, January the 11th, Turner Tony Services for dinner for marijuana information and campaign workshop in the amount of $3,100 requested by the city manager.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Warrant number 243184, January the 18th, Elma's Cookies and Company Restaurant Services for Christmas dinner and Old School Dickerson Holiday Luncheon event in the amount of $5,668.25 requested by the city manager.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Warrant number 243222, January the 18th, Alma Pleasance, DBA Alma's Cookies and Company for Christmas dinner and Old School Dickerson Holiday Luncheon event in the amount of $3,302 requested by the city manager.
So moved.
Discussion. Mr. City Manager, I sent my concerns to you via email, and my question is why this item is on the agenda if you have the authority to pay this item. Because this vendor has not maximized their cap of $5,000 per year. So if you are requesting the payment, why would you send it to us to pay the bill?
Madam Mayor, Council, the item before you is related to the item, the aforementioned item above it. So it, the $5,600 was for the food services and $3,300 was for the decorations, tablecloths, centerpieces, and they're to the same vendor. So that's why
That,
you're talking about. You're talking about the 33.
That's for $5,600 for the food.
So that's what you're referring to, right?
I'm referring to the $3,300
Because the previous item, they're the same vendor, so that exceeds $5,000 there. The total for this particular vendor is close to $9,000.
Do they have the same vendor ID?
They're the same. This is the same company.
Okay. All right, thank you for that.
So it is the same company?
Yes.
And also, there was no account number listed, at least in the backup that I reviewed. So are these all coming from your city manager's account, or are they coming from council accounts?
They're going to come from the councilwoman's special events account.
Okay. The information just wasn't listed, which is why I had the question.
and most of the money was donated, was raised, and it wasn't just tablecloths and decorations. It was each senior got a gift bag with fruits and nuts and a sweet potato pie. It was to give the community some holiday spirit.
Thank you, Councilwoman Reed. I just had the question because,
No
as we
problem.
know, it could be
no
a
problem.
little dangerous sitting up here, and if I see something coming before me that the city manager has the authority to approve, then I will question it.
And you
coming
should.
to us. Thank you.
It's just discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Warrant number 243225, January the 18th, Premier Mailing Services, Measure C and I Information Pamphlet in the amount of $1,584.96, requested by the city manager.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I had a question for the city manager on this because this is for the pamphlets. I'm just wondering if it's the total amount that we had to pay for that? Because this is like $1,500.
This,
Is that for the mailer?
Council Lady, this is for the mailing services, and
Okay.
so we mailed, in order to prevent it from being viewed as a campaigning activity, we mailed items to every single household, and there was also a complaint received that some of the people in the county got this, and that was due to a cost saving, so we just gave it to, if the letter carrier would have had to separate the county addresses from the city addresses, it would have cost much more. So we just let the letter carrier deliver to all residents on that letter carrier's route.
Okay, but is this the total amount that we owe here? It was $1,500?
For the mail service, yes.
Just for the mail service?
Yes.
Okay.
And any
I ask
additional?
a
Oh,
question?
please.
Mr. City Manager, is the other amount to a different vendor?
For the folding or the actual bindery service, I believe it is, yes.
Is it different?
I didn't hear your question, I'm sorry.
Is the other amount for a different vendor?
Okay, okay.
I'm not seeing
Is it the same vendor or no? Oh, okay. Any additional discussion? Information? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Here are council comments.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Councilwoman Zarita?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. City Manager, I've asked you for a couple of items to be brought back for the citizens. I don't have them right in front of me, but hopefully they'll be coming up soon. because I'm going to request another update. I want to update on the cameras in the city. It's amazing what cameras can do, because want to just thank God that, I don't know who else to thank, I think he's the highest authority, but that parking lot had cameras. So we really need to take our camera project more serious. We need to really, I can remember back when I kind of first got on the council, me and Ms. Arsenault, Councilwoman Arsenault, had a real passion for the camera project. So I hope that my colleagues can support prioritizing our city camera project. So, Mr. City Manager, can you add that to the list of reports?
Yes, ma'am. I get a report from the General Services staff each week, and I'll print those reports out and for the next council meeting for you.
Are our cameras in good working condition?
Not all of them, no. So some of them need to be repaired. There are a number of cameras out in some various locations. There's a number of cameras that are working and functional, but we have done an assessment, and I've ordered all the cameras that are inoperable to be repaired. But I'll get that report to you. We get that report weekly. So
okay.
And I can start I don't necessarily want to post that on the website, but I do want you guys to have a knowledge of it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we keep our technology updated and that we can use it to help solve crime here in Compton. And also, I said I was going to add one thing, but when you bring that report back about the citywide camera project, can you also give the people an update on the camera project in the Treasurer's office to safeguard our cash?
Yes.
So, because I can't close my eyes to the $4 million. I'm just sorry, y'all. I mean, money is hard to come by. People struggle, and to have people just taking money, and it's just, I just can't live with myself if I don't try to safeguard our money. And somebody talked about all the little signs that was put up. I hope they take them down. And because that adds to the, I don't want to be misconstrued. I'm not calling the signs by no means trash, but it adds to the litter around the town. So hopefully they can take the signs down. So y'all know I'm under recall again. I'm just going to advise everybody, there is no petition circulating in District 1 to repair the streets. Don't be misled. If you sign the petition, that's your prerogative. If you want to spend, Madam Clerk, approximately, how much did the election yesterday cost? If you have a final number.
I don't have a final number because I'm not finished counting, but the initial quote, not including my poll workers, is $217,000.
Okay, so I had 2 years left. If you want to recall me, that's fine. You guys go ahead and do it. But I'm just letting you know it's going to cost the taxpayers almost to the note of $300,000. But just to let you know, if you sign it knowing what you're signing. Read. Don't be misled. Don't sign a petition to fix the streets and it's a petition to recall somebody. I'm just asking you to read. And if you sign willingly. But if you support me to the end of the term. Don't waste $200,000 and almost $300,000 to recall me and you can just vote me out in 2 years. Because I'm really beginning to believe it's getting so suspect. What am I blocking up here? Why do somebody up here want me off of here so bad that they will just continue to recall me? So I'm just saying, read what you sign, because there's all kind of scams. People will have you sign your house away, your car away, your life insurance away. Just please read what you sign. And let's see. I think that's about it. I wanted an update on Seabury Park, but I'll save that for next week because we'll probably get more of an update since we had a couple of days of rain. So we'll just do the update next week. I'd like to close in the memory of the little baby, Franklin Ponrose, that was murdered here in the city of Compton. And I also like to close in my girlfriend's father's memory, Roderick Earls, Lamika Pope's father. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman McCoy?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. I want to know about the ordinance on the liquor stores and about the security. Could we bring that back and discuss the ordinance or what we're doing, or do we enforce it? You know, I just want to bring it back and discuss the ordinance on liquor stores. Okay. The Compton Initiative on Saturday, the 27th at 7 a.m. is having a cleanup. They will gather at 7 a.m. at the Compton Courthouse and disperse from there. If you're available, please come out and join and come out and clean up the city of Compton. Also, the Compton Creek Task Force, which is my task force, we are doing a creek cleanup. We're doing the last phase of the creek cleanup. We've done all sections, and I'm sure we need to go back through there. However, we're doing the last phase of the creek cleanup on Saturday. We begin at 8 a.m. and we'll gather at 408 West Alondra, the Compton Unified School District property, and we will disperse from there. Please join me. Together we can keep Compton clean. I'm willing to go out and clean up, so please come out and join me with cleaning up the city. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for all the work they did to solve the crime for the baby. My heart goes out to the family, and I extend my condolences to the family. And let's see, I had to adjourn for Roderick Earl and Franklin Ponrose, and that's all I have for today, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Sharif?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Today I hosted my quarterly business roundtable at the Dollar High Community Center. Our guest speakers were Lillian Conroy, Office of Governor Jerry Brown's office, Sarah Silva and Kim Hughes of Youth Bill, and Michael Williams of Colonial Life. It was a great turnout. We had about 70 businesses in attendance today. And I had one gentleman that was there that came all the way from Fresno. So I thought that was really great. I will be hosting a community town hall meeting on the South Park Improvement Plan on Saturday, January 27th, from 11 to 12 p.m. at South Park. South Park is located at the end of 1200 South Block of Chester and East Caldwell Street. We're asking the community to come out and provide their input and suggestions on the final design plans for South Park. That will be January 27th from 11 to 12. And yes, I did travel this weekend, this past week. I had to be in Sacramento. I was appointed to the League of Cities Governors, Transparency and Labor Relations Policy Committee. And our first meeting was held on January 18th in Sacramento. The League Policy Committee reviewed bills, proposals on issues for which the League does not have an existing policy or for which staff members feel a policy discussion needs to occur for greater clarity or background on an issue. Also, it gives us an opportunity to take a look at a lot of bills that's coming through, going into the Senate, going into the Assembly, and for us to make a decision about those bills to see whether we want to support those certain bills and looking at how they may impact the different cities here in the greater Los Angeles. And I had an opportunity to attend the Women's March on Saturday. That was truly amazing. I mean, it was So many people were there. It was just great to see all those women out there speaking out and really voicing their concerns. And I was happy to be a part of that. And I really want to thank the community for going out to vote on yesterday and voicing your concerns and your opinions. And Mr. City Manager, I have one question. I'm still would like for you to give me an update on the tree trimming contract. I know I keep asking you about this contract, but I just need to know where are we, and as far as bringing that contract to the council.
I believe it's going to come on the second to the February 6th meeting. I looked at that large package of things that are in the queue for that particular meeting, and I believe I saw that there.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm looking forward to it again to the council so we can approve it.
Yes.
Because we need some trees trimmed. Thank you.
Thank you. I will be. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I have one person to add to adjourn in memory of Marlene Love. Marlene Love.
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Today, we had the opportunity to attend the open house for the new state-of-the-art McKinley Center, and Mr. Holyfield, representing the Compton Business Network, was in attendance, as well as the City Council, city staff, and it's a beautiful LEED facility, green building, and they will be welcoming a new logistics company to the city, bringing more jobs and increasing our tax base. And the developer is Prism, who's also the developer of the Gateway Town Center, and they have additional investments slated for Compton as well in the 2nd District, and they are going to be improving a much-needed area off of Mona, which we all know definitely can use some improvement. So they're going to be doing some street improvement work as well as they vacate some of their property to help just enhance that area. And so that is also a great announcement that'll be coming forward under the review of the Planning Commission very soon. And this past weekend, I had the opportunity to participate in the 2018 Women's March in downtown LA. I was also one of the speakers representing the great city of Compton, and we had over 600,000 people join together, and there weren't just women there were men there in support of women's rights. Women are whole humans as well. We deserve the same rights that men deserve, and so it was really great to see so much solidarity, all ages, from babies to seniors, all colors, and so it was really a great day to unify. And this march was, as you all probably are following across the nation, this was the day to march across the nation and broke a record for people assembling and demonstrating in our nation. So great things are underway. Sometimes when we believe that we've taken a step back politically, it's really a setup for an opportunity for more civic engagement, more opportunities for people to come together and to voice what we hold dear to us and to reinstate our values as a nation. So it was a great day, and looking forward to more opportunities to advocate. And the Restoration Dickerson Services Community opened as well, which is really, really beautiful. Restoration Services, they actually had a great open house, and Miss Annetta Farley was also with them. She had, many of you know, she actually left to retire with her family, but she came back to help celebrate and to help steward the women as they continue to transition. And there were really great community partners that have come on board, and I saw Captain Thatcher there. He's really taken a really strong leadership role with the Human Trafficking Task Force, and so they are doing really great things, and I just encourage the community to be a part of that coalition, because human trafficking is something that has plagued this community for many decades, but we've seen improvements, and we can see even more improvements with us all working together, and not just trying to remove the men and women that are trapped in human trafficking, but giving them real pathways to restorative justice so that they can get their lives back on track. So I commend their efforts, and it was an honor to support them as well. Just quick announcements. We have our 4th annual Leadership Breakfast and Champion Awards coming up February 24th, so save the date. It'll be at 9 a.m. at Dollar High Community Center. We are taking nominations for Compton Champions, and you can contact our office via email at contactmayor@comptoncity.org. We also have opportunities via social media. You can just click on a link and nominate people that you believe exhibit the champion in the heart of Compton. Also, I will be giving, actually, I'll table that announcement for next week. And we are still taking a few applications for our Bloom 2.0 Young Ladies Mentorship Program. And you can visit my Facebook page to download an application and submit it right there on the spot. And we're looking forward to continuing our awesome program. And this past week, we also solidified a partnership with the Change Agents at Compton High Early College to establish a Compton Youth Advocacy Group. And so my office will be working with them to help young people, young ladies and men, be able to advocate for policies and for changes that they want to see in their community. And I'm looking forward to working with these dynamic young women. And just another public thank you to the Sheriff's Department for working with the community to apprehend the individual that is suspected of murdering baby Franklin Penrose over the weekend. It's always tragic when we have the loss of life, but it's even more devastating when children are caught in the crossfires. And those lives they're never replaced, and they'll leave a hole in that family's heart for the rest of their lives. But it's really something that is preventable, and I just hope that as a community we can continue to come together and not stand for violence and really just love one another, treat each other with respect. But definitely a devastating situation, and a big thank you to everyone that participated in providing justice to the family. And we will now close in the memory of, recess. Thank you all. We will recess in the memory of Ryan Richard Joseph Stewart, who was the praise and worship leader at Greater Zion, and he has participated in many positive things in the city of Compton. And he's very young, died at the age of 28. And so please be in prayer for their family, for their ministry. And I just want to, again, admonish people to really take this flu virus seriously, because it is claiming the lives of so many people, people that are healthy, people that work out every day. It's something that is not to be dismissed. And I've seen people really have their system shut down within 24 to 48 hours. And so it's something that happens so quickly. So please take care of yourselves, and please keep your sanitizers handy, and don't take any precaution too lightly. And then also we will close in the memory of baby Franklin Penrose and Mr. Roderick Earls, who is the father, and Miss Lamika Polk. My condolences, our condolences to your family, and also to Miss Marlene Love. May we have a motion to recess?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes. Thank you all. Good night.
You need this. You're gonna do it after?
We will now reconvene the Compton City Council meeting. May we have a roll call? Motion?
So moved.
Roll call?
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. We will now have a report out of closed session from our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. City Council had a discussion in closed session under Public Employee Performance Evaluation, title City Controller. Council was present except for Councilman Galvan. And the discussion was held pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957. No reportable action taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. May we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. It is Wednesday, January 24th, 2018, 10:04 p.m., and we will now begin the governing body of the successor agency meeting. Roll call.